They believed a spaceship was waiting for them. The true story of Heaven's Gate, 1997. California, March 1997. Rancho Santa Fe was quiet that night. Expensive mansions sat behind tall gates, and palm trees moved softly in the cool breeze. It looked like the kind of neighborhood where nothing dangerous could ever happen. But inside one massive mansion, something horrifying was taking place. 39 people were preparing to die. Some folded clothes neatly onto their beds. Some recorded goodbye messages for their families. Others sat calmly listening to the man they believed would lead them to eternal life. None of them believed they were committing suicide. They believed a spaceship hidden behind a comet was coming to rescue them. And they were ready to leave Earth forever. This is the chilling true story of Heaven's Gate. The story began with a man named Marshall Applewhite. Before becoming a cult leader, Applewhite looked completely normal. He worked as a music teacher, came from a religious family, and spoke in a calm, gentle voice. But in the early 1970s, he became obsessed with strange spiritual ideas. In 1972, Applewhite met a nurse named Bonnie Nettles in Texas. The two quickly bonded over religion, UFO theories, and the belief that humanity was heading toward destruction. Together, they created a bizarre belief system combining Christianity, aliens, science fiction, biblical prophecy. They claimed human bodies were only temporary vehicles carrying souls. According to them, certain chosen people could evolve into higher beings and escape Earth before the end of the world. Applewhite renamed himself Do. Bonnie became T. To outsiders, it sounded insane, but to lonely people searching for meaning, it sounded powerful. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Applewhite and Nettles traveled around America recruiting followers. They held meetings in campgrounds, motels, and public halls. Curious people attended looking for spiritual answers, and some became completely devoted to the group. Applewhite had a powerful influence over people. He convinced followers they were special, chosen for a higher purpose that ordinary humans couldn't understand. Once people joined, they gave up everything. Families, relationships, jobs, money, personal freedom. The cult controlled every part of their lives. No sex, no alcohol, no emotional attachments. Some male members even agreed to castration because Applewhite believed sexual desire prevented spiritual evolution. That's how deeply followers trusted him. Then, in 1985, Bonnie Nettles died from cancer. Her death created a huge problem for the cult because Applewhite and Nettles had promised followers they would physically board a spaceship without dying. Now one of the leaders was dead. Some members began doubting everything. But Applewhite quickly changed the story. He claimed Bonnie had simply left her vehicle and moved spiritually to the next level. That explanation changed the cult forever. Death was no longer something to fear. Now it became the way to reach salvation. By the 1990s, Heaven's Gate had moved to California. Many cult members were intelligent computer experts and web designers. They earned money creating websites during the early days of the internet. To outsiders, they looked completely normal, quiet, smart, friendly. Nobody realized how dangerous their beliefs had become. Then came 1997. A giant comet called Hale-Bopp appeared in the sky, and rumors spread online claiming a UFO was hidden behind it. Most people laughed at the conspiracy theory, but Marshall Applewhite believed it completely. He told followers the spacecraft they had been waiting for had finally arrived, and if they wanted to join it, they had to leave their human bodies behind. In March 1997, the group rented a huge mansion in Rancho Santa Fe. Inside, members calmly prepared for what Applewhite called their graduation. They cleaned the house carefully, organized their belongings, and recorded farewell videos explaining why they were leaving Earth. Those tapes shocked America later, because the members didn't seem afraid. They smiled. Some even sounded excited. One woman calmly explained that humanity was blind while they were about to enter a higher kingdom. Another man thanked Applewhite for helping him discover the truth. It was terrifying. These people truly believed death would take them to a better existence. Over several days, the group carried out their final plan. Members drank a deadly mixture of phenobarbital and alcohol mixed into pudding or applesauce. After taking the poison, they placed plastic bags over their heads to make sure they died. The deaths happened in stages. Some members stayed alive temporarily to clean the rooms and cover bodies with purple cloths before taking the poison themselves. That detail horrified investigators later. It showed how completely the followers trusted their leader. On March 26, 1997, police received an anonymous tip asking them to check the mansion. When officers entered the home, they found one of the most disturbing scenes in American history. 39 bodies lay neatly throughout the house. Men and women rested peacefully on beds and mattresses. Every person wore black clothing, matching black Nike sneakers, purple cloths covering their faces. There were no signs of struggle, only silence. Investigators soon confirmed the victims had willingly participated in a mass suicide led by Marshall Applewhite. News spread across America within hours. People couldn't understand how ordinary individuals could be convinced to die for such unbelievable ideas. That's what made the tragedy so terrifying. These weren't criminals hiding from society. They looked like regular people. And somehow, they had surrendered reality for the promise of alien salvation. Marshall Applewhite's final message claimed the group was joyfully leaving Earth to board a spacecraft hidden behind the Hale-Bopp comet. He believed it completely, and so did his followers. The Heaven's Gate tragedy remains one of the darkest examples of cult manipulation in American history. Not because of violence, not because of war, but because belief itself became deadly. Even today, the Heaven's Gate website still exists online, frozen in time like a ghost from the early internet. A chilling reminder of how dangerous blind faith can become when one person gains total control over vulnerable minds. 39 people believed they were reaching the stars. Instead, they vanished forever,